Swiggity sorty, let's get that booty.
What up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of the Slim Cogcast. It is I, Slim Cognito, and boy, I gotta tell you what we've been watching this week. Okay, so I had the liberty to go ahead and let somebody amongst the community first time watch Into the Spider-Verse, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse with Miles Morales. And safe to say that they enjoyed it a lot, and I'm glad about that. You know what I mean? Makes me pretty happy. So, you know, that's what we've been watching this past week, but that's not the only thing I've been watching. I sat down and I watched Demon Slayer Mugen Train. Oh, let me tell you, man, it's just been nothing but just pain. You know what I mean? And now I'm gonna get ready to start up the episodic next season after the episodes that retread Mugen Train. So yeah, ready for that too. Otherwise, man, Ryogoku is such a cool guy. Like, it ain't fair. It ain't fair, bro. I was up in here hurt. I was shit. The tear didn't fall because it's hard enough to cry these days. But bro, I definitely had my eyes water up. Like, that shit hurt. But y'all gotta check it out. I ain't gonna tell you nothing. I ain't gonna say nothing either. Like, you just need to see it. But everything was great. It was full of action, full of good fun. Some of that mystery to it, you know, gimmick to the demon that they had to fight was actually pretty dope. I can't get enough of the power set that they are giving these demons, because it's always something that has a good logic to it. It's almost akin to the design of JoJo villains, and I love that. And that's what I need to see out of my shonen. It's not enough to see a villain that's just, I'm stronger than the other guy. You know what I mean? And that was one of the things that original Naruto actually had going for it before Shippuden. When he had to fight the Zabuza and Haku, they had very unique Kekkei Genkais that the team had to do trial and error to learn how they work and then find out the trick in order to defeat them. But then once Shippuden dropped, it was all, okay, who got the better eyeballs and the most chakra? Alright, we win. You know what I mean? So that's what I love, and I'm really addicted to that. I'm always here for it. Other than that, yeah, it was a good watch, especially him becoming more accustomed to using his father's dance incorporated with his blade techniques, which is pretty sick. And I'm starting to get the sense that, just like when Ryogoku said, when he said, "What color is your blade?" and he said, "It's black," he said, "Ha, well, that's unfortunate, isn't it?" And he started laughing. And knowing Ryogoku, you know what I'm saying, he gonna laugh at anything because he's just a weird ass like that. But yeah, so that makes me think that he can probably master all the elements. Our boy might just be the swordsman avatar, and I'm here for this shit. So anyway, let's get right down on into the important stuff. First things first, aside from Demon Slayer and I also rewatched I think I told y'all about this last week. Was that last week or was that this week? I don't know. Might have been last week. I don't know. But I'm gonna just run down real quick and just tell y'all that I've rewatched a classic movie, I'm Gonna Get You Sucker, which was a pretty good time. Reminded me of movies in the days of old and how comedy movies was weaved together. You know what I mean? It was a pretty good work, man. The Wayans brothers, they had a lot of fun making stuff, bro, and I liked it. But all that being said, let's get into what I've been playing this week. So this past week, not only did we finish Charles Barkley's Shut Up and Jam Gaiden, but we also, once we finished it kind of early. So I had to find something else to play before we dove into Resident Evil 2. And a recommendation from a good friend of a good part of the community and a good friend is, okay, I had to make sure I got the name right. A shout out to Vox. We actually got to play Donkey Kong Country 2 again on the stream, which is a game that I'm always willing to replay every few months at a time, maybe. So yeah, DKC 2, my favorite Donkey Kong Country ever made, and or Donkey Kong game ever made. And honestly, that was a good time, and I had a great blast with it, with everybody. But the issue is that afterward, we were recommended by, shout out to Squad Cobbler. He told me that I should try out Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, and it was actually something that was in the pocket that I was gonna spring on everybody when I got it working. But I decided to test it just off of a screw it type of mindset, and man, it worked, and it works flawlessly. So yeah, I had a blast. So for 2 whole days I was playing nothing but or was it 3 days? I don't remember how many days it took me, but Donkey Kong Country Returns Tropical Freeze. And I gotta say this as a guy who loves the original trilogy, but more so the first 2 games more than the last one of Donkey Kong Country. I gotta say Donkey Kong Country Returns Tropical Freeze might be the best Donkey Kong game ever made. It is amazing. It is amazing. It is amazing. I'm gonna say it one more time so you can understand what I'm saying. It is amazing. I can't get enough of this game. Not only does it do great visual, effects and artistic, diversity, but also it doesn't keep the artistic diversity in just a visual sense. It also does so in an auditory sense. The musical soundtrack is so ever versatile and changing in a way. It's more of a variable than a constant, because as you play through the game, you could be on dry land and then jump into the water, and it will magically just ease on over and crossfade into a great underwater track that's either been remixed from the older games or a brand new first one that sounds so amazing that it could have been in the original games. And it's in the same BPM but a lower tempo, and it's so fucking good. I can't get enough of this game and its soundtrack. It's so great. And if you want a good example, then listen to the soundtrack yourself. Go to YouTube. Just listen to the first water stage track. It's literally on the first stage. Just listen to it. It sounds so amazing. David Wise is a genius composer, and they got him to reprise his position on these games, and he did not disappoint. I really need y'all to check this out. If you love Donkey Kong or had memories of Donkey Kong when you were younger, play it. Play it. Play it. Play it. Okay, so that's enough shilling. So after we got done with Tropical Freeze, we dove right into Resident Evil 2, which I haven't played since like 2010. And honestly, I'm still having a great amount of fun with it. It's an amazing game. Still my favorite Resident Evil. We just did Leon A. We're going to do Claire B when we come back Tuesday. And Claire B, I'm not sure if we're going to play it again so we can do Leon B, Claire A. I might. That way we can make sure that everything is, how do you say? You know what? We might just do it for the canon. I don't know. We might. I'll see. But anywho's, aside from that, Resident Evil's been great. I forgot just how annoying the classic RE2 can be on hitboxes, because the final fight with G-Virus Birkin, he could just lock you in a corner and you can't move out of it. And that was annoying. That was an annoying death. And in my first fight on the final boss, I forgot when the actual final boss happens because my brain was thinking RE3's ending and not RE2 ending on Leon A. So I'm thinking if I go in here, it's gonna take me to an area where there's like this battery and this button that I gotta press and all of this, and I gotta pick up the Magnum, etc, etc, etc. But that wasn't the case at all. So I just went in with the Magnum and blew him away in like 6 or 7 shots. And that was the game. I was actually surprised at how simple it was. So yeah. So yeah, the craziest thing that I had to realize though is that I still love the feeling of blowing the heads off of like 4 zombies at once. I blew the heads off of like 5 zombies in one shot one time, and it was astounding. I loved it. I was so happy. I think I got a clip too. So if you ain't on the TikTok or on the YouTube, you're gonna miss it, but you might want to see it. Or you can just go to the Twitch and look at the clips. Either way, it's gonna be great. Now, aside from all this, we will be going into a Resident Evil 2 remake. It's gonna be good. I just need to thank those who have been supportive in making sure that our content goes as you would see fit, and I appreciate that. I actually do appreciate that. For those who actually commit to supporting, you know what I mean, and I'm thankful for those that watch as well, you know what I mean. I'm gonna make that clear right now. I'm thankful for the viewers because maybe they just don't have to give, but at the same time, we do still have some who claim support, but I have to get this off my chest because this is for my own mental health. I can't just keep this bottled up. But those that may apparently complain about ads on the channel, I feel like that's a telltale sign that you don't actually support, but actually would rather leech. And I don't mean leech like, oh, you're taking advantage of me. I mean leech as in, I would love to consider you a part of the channel, maybe even a friend, and we, experience things together as a, as a streamer and chat. You know what I mean? That's the whole point of interactivity on Twitch. And I even take recommendations from people, but I see other people willing to actually make sure that that can happen. And if I don't run ads or at least get subs from people or bits, then I have to face the fact that if I do not do those things or receive those things out of people's generosity, then I don't know how long I'll be able to keep streaming. So just empty words of, you're my favorite streamer and this, that, and the third, I get it and I do appreciate that. And if those words aren't empty, then I really do take it to heart and I love that. But I would have to see it be true. Otherwise, I don't get why I would constantly put effort toward making content that's not completely appreciated. So anyways, this is not to alienate anyone that is that could not give, or to alienate anyone that chooses not to, but it's for me to grow. I have to accept the fact that things cost money, and in order to do this stuff, not only do I have to pay bills, but I also have to make sure that I can either afford the games that I'm requested to play or afford the time to play them. So that's the whole point behind it, and I have to accept that. So anywho's, all of that being said, y'all, let's hop right on in to the news, because it's actually been crazy this week. VideoGamesChronicle.com is the first things first, because this is another thing that ties right into what we were just discussing. The $70 pricing is coming to PC, starting with Square Enix next games. Mainly in Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate that is coming to PC, and it's $70 on Steam and Epic Games Store. $70 for a game is ridiculous. $60 for a game was ridiculous. And I don't think that these companies need this much. It's the higher ups and these CEOs that are taking these extravagant amounts of pay. That makes me think there's some money laundering or something going on, because I don't think these developers are making enough. And if the developers aren't really getting paid that much, then Bobby Kotick shouldn't have his pockets lined that damn heavy, and etc, etc. And you could see it happening from company to company. The trickle down is way too much when it comes to this money, and that's ridiculous. And $70 a pop per unit, $70 in to move 1 million units for a company and studio for this huge. Like, I understand it takes a lot to make these games, an incredible amount of money to develop these games. But that being said, I think they're asking too much of the fan bases and those who like to indulge in these games. Now, because of statistics, I can't completely blame them. I also have to blame the impulse buyer and weak will of our gaming fandoms and fans. Like, when they see people drop like hundreds plus dollars on microtransactions, when they see people willing to buy new games that they don't finish and let them sit there, or just constantly pre-order games just so they can talk about the first, few hours with people, in their friend circle or co-workers and things. This is what makes them think that y'all are willing to pay 70. This is what makes them think if y'all are willing to do 60, then you're willing to do 70. And that's too much. I honestly have to say it's too much. And also, there's not more development from a $60 games on the PS4 than there is on a PS5. It's literally just the same. The only difference between the two is they have more hardware to let them get better performance. But that does not warrant an extra $10 per pop. Let's just be real here. That is way too expensive. Your gamer crowd, your biggest consumers and gamers in the age range is from teenagers to their 30s and middle-aged people. So you expect them to spend this much money on you're going to hurt your sales. Your numbers will plummet, and you're going to start blaming the developers and the games when really it's the MSRP. So stop. Do something about this market pricing, or somebody needs to take a stand and say, no, these games will be less than that. And we know you have the choice, because Yoko Taro made Nier Automata was not $60 on release. I think it was $40 or $50. And it was an astounding game, and it did amazing numbers, because not only was it affordable, but it was an astounding work of art. You guys have already been exposed. You've been exposed that you've been price gouging the fan base terribly. And now fandom has become corporatized to the point where if you're not buying merch, and if you don't have the pop figures, and you don't have etc, 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 then you're not really a part of the fandom. And it's disgusting. And now, I used to dream of wanting to go to conventions and cons because I come from this small city in the South, and I never was able. But now I'm like, man, I don't know if I want to. I don't know if I want to. And it's not elitism talking. It's just the fact that if you're a fan of this series, whether it's an anime, manga, TV show, game, whatever, you would like to meet people who share that love and passion. And we had this discussion on the channel not too long ago. But yeah, back then the whole point was geekdom and fandom started by passionate fan bases. The Star Trek fan base made that series huge. Comic books were made by Stan Lee and Steve Ditko. Well, I won't directly say made by, but were popularized because these geeks took to their own thing and built their own table, instead of trying to sit at another person's table to eat and being denied. Being a nerd and a geek was an outcast thing. It was not cool like it is today. It is mainstream cool now, and it has lost its original sense, to the point where now corporations are taking advantage of the fact that you guys are fans of something, and they want you to buy this limited edition, pre-ordered, this and that, and you're gonna have to soak it up. Elsewise, they use that as an excuse to punish you and say, okay, there's no fans here, therefore we'll take away your game series. Mega Man is a perfect example of that. So now we're at an impasse where they want us to prove that we are the suckers that deserve the games that we're giving them at these exorbitant prices. I myself will not pay $70 for a game unless I end up with a disposable income and it's a developer that actually needs the money, like say Platinum. If Platinum charged $70, then that means they actually need it, but I doubt they would. I really would still be cautious about that. I don't know, and no. I already would not get the $60 unless it was something that was absolutely necessary and it was a developer that I supported and knew about their transparency. But honestly, overall, there is no need to pay $70 for a video game at all. point blank, period. And if you're paying $70 for a game, there should be no DLC that needs to be purchased. It should be a complete experience with no content cut out and nothing saved for later on down the release or patches at all, period. Because if Square Enix thinks that this is okay when Final Fantasy 15 was the biggest debacle ever, I paid $60 for that shit, I think, or like $55. It was like a slight sale on it, a slight discount on it at Walmart when I grabbed it. And I regretted that purchase so much. I had my friends talk me into that purchase. I was mad as shit. I didn't finish Final Fantasy 15 until like a year or so later, because I was pissed that I spent so much damn money on it and I wasn't enjoying the story because so much of it was cut the fuck out. So yeah, no. Alright, and I haven't heard a good argument to the contrary. So if you got one, just leave one in the comments or hit me up. I'm more than willing to listen. Trust me. If you ever come to my streams, I'm always there for the debate. But if you can't make sense of spending $70 for a damn game, then that means it don't make no sense. Anyway, rant over. Let's move on. Next thing on the docket, Kotaku.com, a place that I try to avoid like the plague. It Takes Two wins Game of the Year at 2021 Game Awards. This pissed me off. We watched the Game Awards live this past week on stream. It was kind of ass. The music performances were finally amazing, but god damn it, man, the winners of these awards were trash. Like, I get it that people enjoy It Takes Two, but it's abundantly clear that the reason It Takes Two got the most votes, I can tell you this right now, it's very clear. The reason that game got the most votes is because you had the friend pass thing implemented, where your friends could play It Takes Two with you if you bought the copy, but they don't have to buy a copy in order to co-op it with you. So it was like a free co-op experience over the net with anybody around the world. That right there is the most genius viral marketing ever. I don't know what it looked like, you know, sales wise, but everybody was out there playing It Takes Two, and these people were the only ones that showed up the most to vote for the Game Awards. And because the Game Awards is not completely respected amongst, you know, man, fuck it, I'm gonna just say it, amongst those, you know, more hardcore, real, I won't say real, but more hardcore, you know, game fans that actually love these games. And when I say hardcore, I mean even the ones that you would think would be casual, the hardcore Fortnite players and the hardcore Minecraft fans and all these other people. They don't care about the Game Awards, and they don't care to vote. They don't. And the only people who do are the ones that watch for the spectacle. This has become the literal Grammys of the video game world, and it needs to shape up or ship out. Honestly, I love Jeff Keighley. He's a great guy. Saw him build everything with his two hands, and it's great. But damn, there is no reason for this game to win that many awards for making what a adventure game should be. If this game came out 10 to 15 years ago, it would have been bog standard. And that's how starved the game industry is of some originality and creativity. And the fact that Metroid Dread did not win Game of the Year for exceeding expectations, not only for casual newcomers to the game series, but also to veterans who love Metroid and even speedrunners who love to speedrun Metroid games. The fact that this game got 3 awards is a very ugly omen, and it needs to be rectified immediately. Y'all need to branch out and explore other games. I am so serious. Try different shit, because the same skills it took to beat It Takes Two are the same skill it takes to play every other game out there that y'all complain about. So stop the cap. I don't want to hear it. Anyways, next thing on the docket, Eurogamer.net. Masayuki Uemura, excuse me, Masayuki Uemura, the engineer behind the NES and the SNES, has passed away. Quote, "In my spirit, I'm always an engineer," and this is sad news, but he retired in 2004, and he left us at the humble age of 78. So rest in peace, to the man who designed my favorite console of all time. And yeah, that's how life goes. Next thing, as we pay our respects and give them our flowers, next thing on the docket is Call of Juarez Gunslinger. It is free on Steam. You need to go grab it now. If you've heard the podcast immediately on time, then you can go and grab that. It is 100% free. I mean it, 100% free. Full price being $15. I heard good things about this game back when it released. I don't know if it holds up, but we're gonna see. But yeah, you better go grab that. Next thing on the docket is there's a person on Twitter by the name of Tom Henderson leaking news about the new Ubisoft Splinter Cell, where it's going to be more of an open world of sorts, a more, quote, a more stealthy version of Assassin's Creed, similar to how Halo Infinite has done its open world. So, if you find that interesting, then you need to jump on to keeping up with that news. And you can also do that just by following this here podcast. And lastly on the docket, RespawnStation.com, the Game Awards 2021 winners. We're just going to run through all of them. So, the winner for Best Game Direction was Deathloop. Best Narrative was Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, which I feel should have been probably Psychonauts 2. But okay. Best Art Direction was Deathloop, which I feel should have been either Kena, Bridge of Spirits, or Psychonauts 2. Best Music and Score was Nier Replicant, which is apt and makes a lot of sense. Best Audio Design was Forza Horizon 5. Best Performance in Voice Acting was Maggie Robertson as Lady Dimitrescu. Obviously she won because of horniness, but she still did a good job and I won't devalue her work nonetheless. Game for Impact, Life is Strange True Colors, which, fine, I haven't played any of the games in the nominations, so I can't really speak on that. Best Ongoing Series was Final Fantasy XIV, which is fair. I'm not mad at that. They have been making a lot of good strides in becoming the best MMO on the market, so we'll give it that. And it's mostly because it's a subscription-based MMO, which and their company is not on fire like Activision Blizzard. Anywho's, Best Indie Game was Kena Bridge of Spirits, which I feel this was kind of unfair because that is a PS5 exclusive title that was made with a real funding behind it, where these other games were made bare bones by indie developers. It's debatable about 12 Minutes, which was one of the nominations, because it actually has star power voice acting in that game. But I still feel like that these two are way too heavy hitters sitting in the indie scene, and that's not really fair. Indie developers are people who work hard and starve in order to get their game done and take out loans, etc., and work hard in order to get these games done. And they shouldn't have to compete with people who get funding directly from Sony or enough money to get Willem Dafoe to voice act in their damn game. Alright? I gotta be real with you. Best mobile game. It was Genshin Shitpack. I don't want to say nothing about that trash. Probably, and to be fair, it probably should have lost to League of Legends Wild Rift or Pokemon Unite. Best community support. Apex Legends was nominated, but it was getting some bad hacker attacks, so I can understand why it did not win that. And the award went to Final Fantasy XIV. Innovation and accessibility, that went to Forza Horizon 5, which is understandable. They even went to the lengths of getting a sign language interpreter put into the game. So now you can just look at the signs of if you're hearing impaired in order to still play the racing game, and that's insane. Though I feel like captions is supposed to fix that, but whatever. But that's still a good idea, and it's always great to have more accessibility in the games that can afford it. And by afford it, I mean to the point where it won't clash with the overall presentation of the game. Best VR and AR game went to Resident Evil 4. Best action game went to Returnal. Best action adventure game went to Metroid Dread, which is fine, but it still deserved Game of the Year because it satisfied more than just one audience. and every other nominated game of the year, It Takes Two did not do that. It did not. Best role playing, Tales of Arise. Best fighting, Guilty Gear Strive, which it wasn't really a fair competition because Demon Slayer was an arena fighter, anime arena fighter, and Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl was not that great on reception or even presentation. It actually looks kind of ugly to me personally. But Melty Blood Type Lumina was another nomination, and Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown was another nomination. And these two games are re-releases. So yeah, I not too comfortable with that either. Best family game was It Takes Two, surprisingly, which it should have gone to either Mario Party Superstars or Bowser's Fury, but whatever. Best sim and strategy definitely went to Age of Empires. I can't speak on that genre. We can't be a master at everything. Best sports and racing went to Forza Horizon 5. Best multiplayer went to It Takes Two, which should not have been in that category. But when you say multiplayer, we mean multiple players rather than just co-op. And that is ridiculous. And now you can see, this is what I was saying earlier. Now you can tell that a lot of people who voted just got a chance to play It Takes Two for free with a friend. And the thing about a co-op experience is you're gonna have fun because you're doing stupid shit with your friend. Even if you get in trouble or, you know, mishaps happen or getting arrested, as long as you're with a friend, it end up being fun. You can play in mud with a friend and it can be fun for at least a few seconds. So I feel like this is heavily skewed and completely unfair and very, very dastardly evil genius for him to design it in this fashion. Because that means you have more people that can experience your game and less who have to pay to play it. So there you have it. He made it a viral type of experience. Because the fact that Valheim or, you know, Back 4 Blood and New World did not get this. Well, I understand why New World didn't get it, because it shit the bed. But the fact that Valheim or Back 4 Blood didn't get that award is trash. Like, that is terrible. That's terrible. Everybody was playing Back 4 Blood like crazy when this shit released. Even when it was in the beta, it was all over the place. Like, get out of here. Knockout City was hot for a moment, and it was a nomination. But It Takes Two, I think it's overblown how good that game was. It's overblown. But, oh well. Content Creator of the Year, for some reason it was Dream. Once again, viral internet culture of people who actually gives a damn about the Game Awards. That's it. Best debut indie game, once again, Kena Bridge of Spirits. An unfair comparison to the likes of Valheim, Sable, The Forgotten City, and Artful Escape. The rest of those games did not have the budget that Kena had. That's not fair to dominate that type of space. And Sony is really playing games super evil right now. Most anticipated game, Elden Ring. That makes sense and it's fine. It would have went to Elden Ring or God of War Ragnarok, and that's understandable. It's fine. Maybe even Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2. Best esports game, League of Legends won for some reason, when in fact all of these other nominations have been on fire. I guess it's just a bigger fan base of people playing League. Esports athlete, best esports athlete went to Simple. Alright. And best esports team went to Natus Vincere. Best esports coach, Coma, and best esports events was League of Legends. LWC, League of Legends World Championship Worlds, or some people call it, for 2021. So yeah, that's all of the winners from the Game Awards, and it is abundantly clear, like I said earlier, and I'll say it again, it was just those who were willing to click and vote rather than a proper representation of which games actually matter more to the masses. Anywho, we got some new trailers that was revealed for the Game Awards. A lot of good looking stuff, like Forspoken looks better now in this new trailer, and etc. And we got some new news on Elden Ring as well. So I'm pretty hyped for the things that are to come. We also got our Sonic 2 trailer for the movie, and I'm super excited about that. Yes, as a grown man, I am excited about the Sonic 2 trailer. Don't give a fuck. You can fight me if you want. I bet you a bitch. But Sonic 2 looks great and fun, and I enjoy that. So if it sticks with the quality of the first movie and improves upon it, then yeah, it's gonna be great. We finally getting some good video game movies. Let's move away from this live action Netflix shit. And maybe, yeah, let's keep Netflix's hands off of video game IPs at that. So yeah, that was everything in the docket, y'all. So we're gonna just go ahead and sign out, and I'm gonna have to thank you for listening. Don't forget that this coming week we're doing the Resident Evil thon, but we're also playing something else on the side. So if you got some good recommendations or things that you would like to see and you are a supporter of the channel, then go ahead and just speak up. And if you enjoy the first-person shooters, third-person shooters, whatever they may be, and I am on PC, so if it's crossplay or a PC shooter, go ahead and hit me up. Come on in and chat. And the first half of the stream is dedicated to that. So if you would like to see some more of that, come and see me. I have an open lobby always, and I play with the chat. So if you are good at the Halo or the Apex, etc., Overwatch, or anything else out there that I may have on the old hard drive, then stop by and we can do things. And always remember the channel motto: intentions are the most important, actions ain't nothing but loud, and words don't mean a damn thing. Y'all take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next week. Peace. Fuck! Oh! Oh! Oh!